Welcome to Cartomancy Mesquite. I'm Angela, and thank you for coming. I've got a show today that I've been asked to do on the Ten of Swords, because that's another card that freaks people out a lot. And I'm going to show you why it shouldn't upset you. It's just a what's happening type of card. Okay, this one, I'm going to start with this one first because this is where everybody gets their mistakes from and what they think of this card. The fear, this is from a learning deck, and the way they write out the definitions really is different from like any other deck. So I'm going to read this to you. Okay, upright, it means backstabbing, betrayal, enemies, bitching, bad-mouthing, bitterness, doormat, failure, ruin, collapse, breakdown, exhaustion, inability to cope, curses, rock bottom, hitting a wall, dead end, severing ties, goodbyes, nail in the coffin. Nothing sweet about that. Then in reverse, it means escaping ruin, pulling yourself together, learning from past hardships, and fears coming true. That's a pretty bleak picture that this card paints. There's nothing good about it. It doesn't give you any kind of it doesn't give you a real definition for this card. It gives you the worst of the worst. And this is just from a regular learning deck. Let's see if I can get it where you can see this. And I wanted to start with this one is because this is what most people think when they see the Ten of Swords. The next, I have the Corona Tarot. Now this Ten of Swords is very different. It's just people protecting themselves from the worst. And that's all there is to it. They're protecting themselves from what they think the worst is going to happen. That's a bit different than this doom and gloom. Then I'm going to go to the Afro Goddess Tarot. Now the Ten of Swords is about feeling backstabbed, betrayed, and defeated. As the sun sets, this goddess lays wounded by 10 swords in the back. But even in this moment of great pain and loss, she has enough strength to lift her hand as to say, for I am hurt, but will recover. I'm not dead. Eventually she will have to pick herself up, heal her wounds, and go on. A new beginning shall come from the end. And the relief of this release will feel just like the relief of the first flight a butterfly takes upon emerging from the cocoon. Quite a different story, isn't it? Makes it very different, paints a very different picture. Then I've got Doreen Virtue's Angel Tarot. Okay. On the card, there's a little paragraph there. My lighting is bad since we lost power on Tuesday. The end of a difficult situation. That's really different right there. Embrace the change and expect things to get better now. Recovering from an addiction. So it's about recovery. This Ten of Swords that has everybody in a state of, panic when they see it. It's really about recovery. It's kind of like the worst is over. Now I'll read about the Ten of Air in the Ten of Swords in the book from Doreen Virtue. The situation has ended. Fortunately, endings are always followed by new beginnings. You may feel sadness over what has transpired, mixed with welcome relief. It's time to walk away and embrace the dawning of a new day. Expect your circumstances to improve. It may be time to change your career. Perhaps you've completed a long-term project or have decided to pursue other employment. Don't put limits on what wonderful things the universe can bestow. Cast your net wide and see what fantastic opportunities you might catch. And it has an additional meaning down here. It's nowhere to go but up, recovery from an addiction, or a melodramatic reaction. A melodramatic reaction. So you're thinking the worst when you see that Ten of Swords. And that's what freaks people out. They see that Ten of Swords and they think that something horrible is going to happen when it really means something horrible happened and it's over. And then the next card I've got for you is Life is Like a Board Game. That's from another deck. And it refers to it as darkest before the dawn way. The darkest has happened. The darkest before the dawn way. You're on your way to brighter times. Things are picking up. And then I have the Ten of Swords from the United States of Tarot. And this paints a familiar scene. We've all seen the videos for that. Now, in the book, they say the card reveals that there is a painful ending that cannot be avoided but must be endured. You feel devastated and defeated, and it may feel like the world is literally ending, and at this point when things cannot get any worse. Always remember that there is hope, and we can come back from this situation wiser and stronger. This card shows the storming of the Capitol on January 6, 2021. The insurrection was an attempt to overturn the presidential election. My original card was a figurative depiction of the fragility of democracy. This card shows the literal attempt to overthrow democracy on January 6th. And what happened with that? That Ten of Swords turned out a lot better than anybody expected when we saw the action first start. Let's see, I've got a few more here. But what I wanted to get through to everybody is that the Ten of Swords is not a beginning, it's an ending. It's an ending of the darkness. The darkness before the dawn. Dawn is coming very shortly. You've just got to that point where you've got to the darkest spot. So the only way to go is up. The light is coming. You're going to see a new day. Then I've got from okay, now I know what this deck is. Game of Thrones. I forgot Game of Thrones. Can you imagine that? Now this is the Ten of, I know it's hard to see, the Ten of Swords. It says traitor at the top of the Ten of Swords. And the book says the key meanings are finality, truth, and endings. I think that's the best definition altogether right there, is finality, truth, and endings. A bond is broken. This 10 is the card of endings. The evidence is unmistakable, the decision final. Although you may be shocked or confused, with hindsight you will see that this situation had been building for some time. The upside is that all surrounding tension has disappeared, making way for you to move on up. And for the reverse meaning, they have in the reverse position, the meaning of the upright card stands, but the ending is protracted and there may be more anxiety, regret, or conflict to get through before you're able to let go. And that's where it shows you have some power here. You have to be able to let go of the stress, the shock, the tragedy, whatever it was. You got to be able to let go of all that anxiety, regret, and conflict. Just let it go. And then you'll get through whatever it was you had to face. It's done. It's gone. It's over. So the finality, the truth, and the endings. That I take as pretty much the final word on the meaning of the Ten of Swords. Hi, Teresa. What I'm doing is I'm explaining the Ten of Swords because a lot of people, that card kind of freaks them out. So, and somebody asked me to read on this. You want to go back and listen to the start because this is really it makes things easier to understand and makes it not so shocking and scary. Now I got from the Robin Wood Tarot. Now from the Robin Wood Tarot, I first pulled the Nine of Swords. That's you being upset and worried up all night about things that are mostly some things in your head. You're making things seem worse than they really are. But then you get the Ten of Swords. All the swords are in the back. But if you notice right here, the person has one arm lifted up. They're coming back. They're not done. They're not over. The situation is over. Now in the Game of Thrones, it says, no, it is that bad. Misfortune, ruin, defeat, loss, failure, pain, desolation beyond tears. Alternatively, evils or misfortunes which are over. And most of the decks that I've read here say that the evils or misfortunes are over. And reversed, it's evil overthrown, courage, success, recovery, and turning toward higher sources. And the main thing to point out is that all of these say that the misfortune is over. Whatever the event was that was so upsetting, it's already over when you get that Ten of Swords. It's done. Now all you need to do is recover your sanity from that bit of insanity. This is what you got to recover from. The Ten of Swords is all of this ending. This is the self-torture that you do, seeing bad things come along. You know, you're imagining the worst. And then the Ten of Swords comes along, and even if it is the worst, it's over. So then you're done there. And then I've got, this is from the Spellcasters. This is the Ten of Swords from Spellcasters. The wolves are looking at him thinking maybe he's a nice meal, but no. He's still got a sword in his hand. Right there. His other arm is extended. He's still got the fight still in him. He's still with it. Okay. All right, I know I marked the page. There it is. This is why I like to order all of my decks with the book, because if you listen to all of these meanings of the cards, you get a really broader view of the tarot. Okay, the description is an accident, a tragedy, bad karma catches up, disaster, revenge, or the desire for revenge, betrayal, backstabbing behavior, a king is overthrown, physical injury, intense emotional pain that has left one feeling utterly broken and defeated, extreme sorrow, having one's friends and allies turn against them, a serious warning that great caution and watchfulness is needed, digging one's own grave. That kind of comes out in the Nine of Swords. That's mentally digging your own grave. A major positive change is required in order to avoid disaster. Intense pain and suffering, cursing, and other forms of magical attack, being pinned down and trapped by feelings of hurt that past or present loved ones have inflicted upon one. Being selected and picked up for a new contract or other opportunity, but this symbolism is indicated only rarely and when surrounding cards support this interpretation. So there is a good side to this. It's bringing something new in. Now the reversal is danger and disaster will be averted only if caution is exercised and changes are made immediately. Outwitting one's foes to escape defeat, guilt over one's own unsavory actions, having ethical or moral aversion, narrowly escaping disaster, risky behaviors must be curbed, unsavory alliances must be broken, an attempt to seek revenge will bring disaster and should be abandoned, a temporary triumph in a situation that should be avoided altogether. Now, what I hear in this is the attempt to seek revenge. The best revenge is a dish served cold. That's an old saying. I don't know who said that, but it's one I remember. And throughout my life, I've had many, many Tens of Swords. But every time, my revenge was going forward and living a better life. My life improved after every one of these disasters. And that includes the tarot card too. You're going to survive that disaster. Unless you've got all kinds of other, like the death card and other bad cards around it. Yeah, absolutely, Teresa. And it literally is, revenge is a dish best served cold because it eats up whoever was attacking you, whoever was giving you all that grief, and whoever was stabbing you with those swords. It really eats their lunch when you go on and become your best self. Your best self eats their lunch. Just seeing it or hearing about you, that's all they need to know, and it just eats their lunch. So that's your revenge. Any other kind of revenge is kind of fruitless and not really all that satisfying, so to speak. I've done the other kind of revenge too when I was much younger. And then last I have here the Gilded Tarot. This is the Ten of Swords in the Gilded Tarot. This is kind of a dark card, so it's hard to see. But that's the Ten of Swords from the Gilded Tarot. This is the book. I love the books. When I order cards, I always try to order with a book to go with it, because you learn more about each card with every book you read. It says, the Ten of Swords, a figure lies apparently lifeless on the ground amongst cheerful red flowers. It is a poignant and strange sight. While the man may very well be dead, there is a peacefulness about the scene. The 10 swords above him illuminate the scene with a radiant glow. Whatever hardship he has lived through, he is at the end of it. In terms of the Wheel of Fortune, Major Arcana 10, this man is at the bottom and is about to start a new cycle. You are at the end of a hard situation. It's probably all that you can stand, and you may not think you'll make it. You can. Have faith that the tide is about to turn. Be aware of losing hope. Do not give up. The wheel is about to begin an upward turn. So again, we hear that all it is a change in fortunes. The bad times are pretty much at an end when you get the 10 of Swords. And all you have to do is turn your mindset around and look for your recovery. Look for your helpers, your guides. Look to the people around you, the good ones, the ones that didn't bring on this 10 of Swords. And you'll make it pretty easily. And I've even made many of those on my own. I've survived these. And I've survived a lot of towers on my own. It's doable. All you have to do is have the strength of purpose to just get up. All you have to do is move. There's one scene in Kill Bill where Uma Thurman had been in the nursing home. And to start moving, she always thought about just moving one toe. It's all about moving one toe and letting, yes. After 10 years, yes. It's all about letting go because it is time. It's time to let go. It's time to recover. It's time to get your life back. And that you can do. It can be tough. It can be easier. It's all on your mindset. If you can set in your mind that, yes, this is the end, then going forward is the only way you can go. You're at the bottom. The only way to go is up. So you just keep moving. And you'll make a few missteps along the way, but you'll see them and you'll catch yourself. Yep, exactly. The only way is up. And if you want to go back and see my show on the Tower card, it goes through pretty much the same thing. These are pretty close to each other. The 10 of Swords is pretty much the same thing as the Tower card. Things only get better from here. And that's what I wanted to explain to you, that this is the end of the worst. The worst is over. The darkness is just before the dawn. The dawn is coming. You see how dark this card is? The sun is just getting ready to rise. If you look at the horizon up here, the sun is starting to come up. The light is coming. So the worst is over. When you get that 10 of Swords, the worst is over in your situation. And that's how you should take it when you get a reading with the 10 of Swords. Is things can only get better from here. And in the Tower show, I gave a really good path for how to recover. I won't go into it here, but you can see on the Tower card when the tower falls down. Yes, the 10 of Swords of the Light Seers. A lot of people like the Light Seers. It's a little too squishy for me. I'm one of those readers. I can be blunt and brutal, but you will know everything by the time I'm done reading you. I don't hold back anything. I don't sugarcoat anything. I will tell you exactly how it's going to be. Because what can you do about your situation if you don't know exactly how it's going to be? It makes it much easier. Yep. Yeah, a lot of people find it funny. And if you watch, I do a show with Gerald of Tarot Stash. We do the caffeinated and unfiltered. That's where we do the blunt readings. You'll love that show. But the channel is Tarot Stash. And Gerald is a great guy. Love him to pieces. He is really something else. And we have great time reading. Even horrible readings come out funny, but they're blunt and brutal and honest. But we do get a good laugh on that show. It is fun. Good. Yes, watch Tarot Stash and watch the Tarot Stash Caffeinated and Unfiltered, and then watch my reading on the Tower card. It'll fill you in on a lot of this because the Ten of Swords and the Tower card are very similar to each other. But I just wanted to come on and do a little explanation of this card since Diana couldn't join me today for Oracle Garden readings. She had to help a friend move. So we may do them tomorrow. We'll see how Diana feels. If not, we'll do them next weekend. But this is what I wanted to show you. I got about 10 decks I've been through. So if you go back and watch from the beginning, you'll get the whole gist of the thing, and it'll make you feel a lot better about the Ten of Swords. Really, in the tarot, there's nothing to be afraid of because everything that comes out in the cards is advanced warning. No matter what's going on, it's telling you in advance what's going to happen. You're very welcome. And I love doing these shows with you guys. I love just the fun we have. And I enjoy talking with everybody. And these shows really pick me up. They do me a lot of good. But one thing we always have to say is like, share, and subscribe. And this is for entertainment purposes only. But this is a really good card in a way. You're at the bottom. There's only one way to go, and that's up. So you all enjoy your Sunday. I'll probably see you tomorrow. I'll pop in. So have a good Sunday and watch those replays. The Tower card, and then on Tarot Stash, the Caffeinated and Unfiltered, and you'll get a better grasp on how I read. And I do personal readings. I can be reached at cartomancymesquite@gmail.com. Thank you very much for coming. Love y'all. Bye-bye.